What's going on, Gas Heads? Welcome back to another video on the channel and welcome back to the Talking Gas podcast. As always, hope you guys are doing well. Make sure you do subscribe if you're new. Keep up the quality support. Thank you, everyone, for the amazing support throughout this season. It has been quality. Very draining on football terms at times, but if it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. So thank you. And I appreciate all the support. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're new. And make sure you leave all your thoughts. Of course, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the retain list, players that are out of contract and that have left, players that have been given new deals, players that have triggered new contracts, and also my thoughts on the players that will be retained for next season. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments. We will be doing a more in-depth version of the retain list and doing our season review as well in the next few days, so keep an eye out for that. We will be doing a pre-recorded video, so then it'll be done on one day, then out the next. So that should be out very shortly as well, and plenty more content, of course, coming over the next few days, weeks, and months ahead of the new season. So let's get into it. If we go and start off with players, of course, that return into their clubs, we've got Harvey Vell, Tristan Kramer, Matt Cox, Baggett, Harvey Vaughan, and Bryan Aguilera returning to their clubs. Of course, Harvey Vell, for me, has probably been the best one out of them. I think he's been very good. You got Tristan Kramer, who done well in spells, but other times was a bit rash and a bit, loses a little bit of concentration. Matt Cox done fairly well. I know people give him a lot of criticism, but for me, I think he done well, quite well during his 34 appearances. We got Baggett, who improved very quickly after the first couple of games where he was poor. So we'll have to see what happens with him next season. Maybe we could get him on a permanent, because I don't think he'll be playing in Ipswich's first team if they get to the Premier League. Then Harry Vaughan, we didn't really see much of him. I thought he was very, very lightweight, to be 19 years old. And yeah, he didn't really get a lot of game time, but he was very lightweight. I think he does need to bulk up a tiny bit. He is still young, of course. And then Aguilera, of course, no one will ever forget that goal he scored at Exeter. Of course, he scored at Cheltenham as well. He did have a little injury issue for a few weeks, but I thought he'd done fairly well. We'll get on to out of contracts and 1 year options that have been triggered. The first one is Jerry Lawrence, who has been on the bench a lot of times, hasn't played, I don't think, but he's always impressed during pre-season and it's how he gets on next season. We've also got Chris Martin, a 1 year option triggered. I think that would be because of appearances and maybe goals based. Of course, he got 16 goals last season. Very, very good. We know he's, banned for the next, the first 2 games of next season, but I think he's done well enough, definitely to have that option triggered on his contract. We then go out of contract players who have been given new deals. The first one, Scott Sinclair, in the games to be fair, I think a lot of the games he did miss this season weren't because of injury. I think it was something outside of football, but I'm glad, I think most of us are glad that he's been given a new contract. I think he deserves it. Still a very fit player, professional that keeps himself in good shape at all times and still has quality to start games or come off the bench. The other one is Jordan Rossiter. It's a hard one with him because I look for his whole career, and only 2 of his professional seasons that he has played, he's made over 20 appearances. And yes, he's got quality, but it's just the amount of times he's been out injured. I know for the majority of time he's been out this season and last season, a lot of it was due to an infection. I get that, but also you've got to look at the fact of, like I said, he hasn't played loads of games. If you look at his career as a 27-year-old, he's barely played 130, 140 games, and I agree that he's got quality. We've seen it once he's come back into the fold at the end of this season, but can you really trust a player? He can maybe play 20 appearances, is that? And I would rather someone with a bit less quality but play most of the games. But I think he has got quality. Hopefully, if he does sign the new contract, he can play more and get a run in the team and not be out again, hopefully. And the other one, I've seen a lot of mixed ones on this, and that is Luca Hall. He is the 3rd player to have his contract extended. Again, for me, like I said, it is a mixed one. I think, that he's going into his 4th season next year. I think he's regressed a little bit this season. I think this season he's made 23 appearances. I think only about 12, 13 starts though. And for me, yes, he's still young, but you see players a lot younger, say 17, 18, 19, sort of better than him. I sort of agree that there's still room for him in the squad. I wouldn't put him as a starter. Like I said, I know he's still young. He's going to turn 22 on his next birthday. But I just don't think he's got the technical ability, and I don't think he's good enough defensively, personally. But we'll see if he signs one, and hopefully if he does sign a new contract, he can improve and work on things. But yeah, let me know what you think on that. And of course, getting on to the under contract players, we've got James Connolly, James Wilson, Grant Ward, Luke Thomas, Connor Taylor, Giovanni Brown, Anthony Evans, Camille Conte, Luke McCormick, Jed Ward, Matthew Hall, who was the only player last season. I know he was signed as a third choice, second choice keeper, but he was the only player last season that didn't make a single appearances in any competition. So I think we'd probably want to see him loaned out and get some game time. And then also Jack Hunt and Kofi Shaw. Of course, a lot of the players, I'd probably say half of that list have only got 1 year left. I think Connolly has got 1 year left, Grant Ward, Giovanni Brown, Anthony Evans, Luke McCormick, and Jack Hunt have all got 1 year left. Finally, last but not least, we have the players that have been released from their contracts and will not be playing for Rovers next season. We've got Finley, of course, we already knew about. Having played 121 games for Rovers, 8 goals, of course, being a really massive part of that squad, especially in the League Two season with, Coots and that team, getting over the line, getting promotion on the final day. But to be honest with you, I think even if you would have offered him a new contract, I think he would have declined it anyway. I think he's just one of those that wants to get back up north. And yeah, he has been a great servant. The next one is Marquis, who was signed last season on a 2-year deal, having played 83 appearances, scoring 16 goals. I think, to be honest with you, I don't think he has the quality that he once did. And that's the way football works, unfortunately. But he's also left. You've got Josh Grant, who's one of the longest serving players. He's been here, 4 or 5 years now? I can't remember. It's been that long. Of course, you had the season just after the promotion where I think he only made 1 appearance, so he struggled a lot. If you look at over his time, 102 appearances in all competitions, but you could probably, if he'd have been fit, you could probably say 200, so he's probably missed out on 100 games there. But he's a great guy as well. I've seen him out and wish him all the best. Lewis Gordon, again, he's played 73 times over the last 2 years. I think that's a mixed one. I do like him, but I don't think he's good enough to start. And will he want to stay and be like a sort of rotation player? I don't think so. You got Gibbons, who of course spent the second half of this season out on loan at Cambridge. Again, I just don't think it worked out. He obviously done well at Port Vale. We signed him after that and it just didn't work out. I don't think he had much quality, but I do wish him all the best. He did give everything. Harvey Greenslade, I think for me, I wanted to see a new contract, if I'm being honest. He's been here since the club from the under 7s, and he's done really well out on loan in the National League this season, scoring 7 goals. He can play anywhere along the front line. Always looked really good in pre-season, no matter who it's against. And yeah, was surprised that he hasn't been given a new deal. And also Ryan Jones, another one that's always looked really good in pre-season, either as a left mid, as a wing back, or as a left back. He's looked good, but yeah, we haven't really seen him a lot really. And same as Greenslade, he hasn't really been given a chance, to be honest, under Barton or Taylor. So yeah, that is a retained list. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what I've said on certain players. Like I said, there will be a more in-depth version of this, and also doing our season review in the next few days, so stay tuned for that. And like I said, there will be plenty more content coming in the next weeks, days and months, so please stay tuned. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Up the gas.